Hi Sloths, and welcome back to Ebon. In the last episode, we put Laciaga flat on his arse. And in this episode, I have no idea. I completely forgot what this episode entails, so guess we'll find out together. Who knows? And looking at the stats screen from last time, I don't remember. I mean, it looks exactly the same as last time, so let's just continue with the game. It appears just as you left it, I expect. I think I forgot Haran's voice already. Lovely. At a glance. You'll have true privacy. You'll have true privacy. Wait, what? I just said that twice. You'll have true privacy. We'll have true privacy. Once we leave. I don't want to leave. Jealous are you? Soon I hope your family wouldn't mind. Not sure which one to go for. Soon I hope. Yeah, I do want to go. That'll happen soon, I hope. It will be. Delier will run out of favourable circumstances soon. Do you think so? It seems like he has an endless supply. He doesn't. Even if he did, at a point, we could break free despite him, unveil our eyes. He moved to the window and I looked out. He moved to the window and looked out it. Okay, that's just my brain not working. For some odd reason I thought that was wrong, but it's not. So I turned my attention to the mirror. I look different. In what way? I'm not sure. Well, we're all changing, Madrily. I see more beauty in you now than ever before. Biased, always a flirt, you're making me vain. Good. Yeah, always a flirt. Always a flirt without fail. It's not flirting anymore, is it? I have you already, don't I? I guess you do. You definitely have me. Ooh, yes please. He beckoned me closer, and like a puppet I obeyed. When did he get such a hold on me? From the very beginning. Now perhaps it was the promise of his affection that drew me. That was addictive. A tangible effect of his charm. The reason he could get away with all manner of things. How are you feeling about everything? This web you found yourself in? Web? Accurate? Overwhelmed? Excited? I don't know. Definitely overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. A simple word for a feeling that I haven't shed in months. Then tell me how to help you. If it's solace you need, we will soon have it. I don't know. To be free of this? The danger? Yes, that will pass soon too. For Covintal? I couldn't say, Madrily. Gallia? We needn't stay. But this? Between us? I wouldn't be so eager to illustrate how you may be free of me. I lay my head against his chest and took a deep breath. I have some people to talk to tomorrow. You can come with me. Friends? Some friends? Family? People I've crossed in training? Assassin friends? Those who used to work for my twin? Many of whom still do, from what I understand. I know who to avoid, Madrily. Don't worry. Like Ekere? Yes, like Ekere. I'd assume in that moment Haran would be like dropping his entire facade and be like, yeah, we're gonna just stay away from Ekere. Yeah, okay, let's just not even think about his entire existence. Yeah? Good? He wrapped his arms around me, fitting his hand at the back of my neck. It felt so relieving to be held. My family is full of secrets. This island is full of secrets. And those who think they have all the pieces are usually among the most lacking. Like your grandparents. I felt him nod. How can you feel him nod? Strange. Tomorrow, then. Yes. And are you full of secrets? What kind of people are they? I'm like, yeah, are you full of secrets? And what about you? Me? Are you full of secrets also? Anything I am is yours to know, Madvili. There are no secrets between us. Not unless... Unless you are keeping some. But if you are, I'll figure them out. He held me close. I felt the back of my neck tickling with kisses and his breath, and I heard myself laughing. Adorable. It was a strange sound, hearing myself laughing in the dark, perils all around. We all have freedom soon. Oh, we will have freedom soon? Okay, whatever. Bliss with you. I heard a deep, regretful sigh as he pulled away. I should say good night. You can stay here. You could. I hesitated, looking around the room. You want me to stay? I nodded. Then I'll stay. I felt so spoilt having him near me all night. He let me lay my head on him, and I wasn't sure I'd ever been more comfortable. So I get to meet your assassin friends? You can meet all my friends. You probably have a lot. You're my favourite. Another yawn, and this time I joined him. Before too long, I was asleep. My eyes shot open when I felt pressure on my mouth. There, above me, was a man I had unfortunately grown to recognise. Bloody Eckeray. He had his hand over my mouth and was looking at me with an expression I could only vaguely grapple with. A million things came to mind in that second, but whether he pitied me or was looking forward to finally ending me, I couldn't tell. I reached beside me. Unable to turn my head, I tried to feel where Haron was. He's not here anymore, Mavis. Glare. I glared at him, a quiet gesture, perhaps, but if he thought to take my voice, I would make him promise with my eyes. He smiled and lifted his hand, though hovering it close in case I decided to scream after all. It was fun while it lasted, I guess. I thought this would end with more bloodshed, not quietly whisked away under the thumb of what you thought would protect you. Why do you let him taunt you? Use it. Your power? Yes. His eyes glanced downward. My hands were being bound, yet I thought it was useless. A familiar tingle was building up around my limbs, and soon... I pity I won't get to see you again. Foul smell assaulted my nose, overpowering like it was pulling a blanket over my mind, followed by blackness, oblivion. Next, I knew I was waking up with a headache unlike any I'd ever had before. My wrist was sore, and my knee hurt. I saw only rock above me. There was a dripping sound somewhere, and it was cold. I sat up slowly and blinked my eyes into focus. And we're in a dungeon. Okay, I remember this part now. This is, we are very close to the end of the game. Like, very close. And I was alone. You are far underneath the earth. Only that voice. I strained to hear anything other than it and that incessant dripping. Or incessant dripping, even. Ugh. I started to stand, only for a hot jolt of pain to sear through my knee. I lifted my clothing to find a deep gash. Oh, lovely, a deep gash. I prodded it tenderly. Why would you poke a gash? That's just going to make it worse. It was going to be difficult to keep it clean. Yeah, especially down in a dungeon like that. My wrists must have also been bound. There were red marks on each. Call out, search for area, attend to your knee. Yeah, let's fix our knee up first. That's kind of a first objective here. I had to take care of my knee lest it fester. The water dripping from the ceiling didn't smell foul. It's probably rain. Looking around, it was probably better than nothing. I washed my knee and patted it dry with the cleanest part of clothing I could find. Now let's call out. Let's see if anyone's there. Hello? Where am I? No response. Who is there? What's happening? Answer me. Nothing, just that incessant dripping. Okay, let's search the area. I stood carefully. I was dizzy, like I'd just woken from an unexceptionally deep sleep. And I wasn't confident in my balance. The rock was solid and cool to the touch. I got the sense I was deep underground. The walls seemed to have an almost natural shape to them, as though they had been carved so much as formed. The ceiling and floor were chiselled, comparably smooth, making the walls stand out all the more. There was a chain pounded into the rock. A bucket with red... No, I didn't want to think about that. Ugh, gross. I could see other rooms like this down the hall. Was I at the end of a hall? But there was such horrid silence. If there were others in these cells, they were very quiet. Yeah, let's ask for something tall about things. You there? Still. Can you get us out of this? Find. What? I waited and it didn't respond. The silence was terrible. Something tall? Still nothing. Let's look for a way out of cells then. I tried the bars first, naturally. The metal was somehow warmer than the rock walls, and giving them a strong shape produced only a slight rattle. The water dripping from above came from a crack in the ceiling, and it puddled on the floor, draining slowly through a small fracture in the floor. I pushed my fingernail into it and tried to claw at it, achieving nothing but a sore finger. Find. Find what? I settled down in the driest of my four corners and tried my best to remember what had happened. I was taken here. I could barely recall it. Someone put something over my head. A foul sleep came soon after. Where were the others? My elves. Where was Haron? My allies had to be somewhere. They wouldn't have left me to this. We were in this together. I exhaled, willing myself to stay calm, but I was failing terribly. My heart was racing. I couldn't imagine how far underground I could be. I couldn't imagine where I could be. If anyone knew I was gone, or if anyone would ever be able to find me. My rock room, was growing smaller with each breath. I was alive, but I was alone. I was trapped. I didn't know what was happening. I was alone. I was alone. Alone. Even my ghost was quiet, and I was alone. My elves, my aunt. I was alone. I could hear nothing but the dripping and my movements. My breath heavier and faster. I would need to stay calm, keep searching, because the only other thing to do was wait. And so I did my best to keep busy. My allies were strong, and wherever they were, they would be looking for me. Those elves did not die easy. But Haram? I shook my head and tried to rouse the Coventar with me, but it spoke nothing. I took to talking to myself out loud just for company. Somehow, eventually, I fell asleep. Hours must have passed and I was still so tired from whatever they drugged me with. It was just a light sleep. Well, sort of in between, and I couldn't help it. I was not entirely unaware, but I was not awake either. Thus, when a loud shout clamoured down the rock hall, I jolted upwards with a gasping breath. Okay, sorry about that little cut there. I got distracted by a thing. There was someone down the passageway, someone being put in another rock cage. Someone I knew? I rushed to the bars and strained to see, but I saw nothing. I wasn't sure, but I seemed to be at the end of a hall branching off into many of these rock rooms. But if there were even more halls going off in every direction, the voice could have come from anywhere. I didn't instantly shout out to them, which surprised me. I wanted to know who they were, if they were someone I knew, to see if I could learn anything. Who's there? Hello? There was a shout in response, but the word in Gallian and the speaker both unfamiliar. I could hear sounds of a struggle. Then there was an abrupt end to the noise and a bitter return to silence. That guy probably got clogged over the head with a brick. Or a bat. Or a brick bat. Or a bat brick. Or a chain. Or just a fist. I don't know, but it definitely seemed to be a bit clobbered. Not even the new captive made noise. Briefly, I thought I heard footsteps disappearing, but I was probably imagining it. Hello? Nothing. Do not be so quick to think just because you are both captives, you are also allies. There you are. There was a great deal of noise for me. It was quiet here. Aren't you with me? In part. I would ask something of you. Of me? Do you not see where I am? What could I possibly give you? Find the coward and kill him. What? I'm not killing anyone. Who is a coward? Tell me what's going on. I'm imprisoned. Yeah, I'm imprisoned. I'm a prison ghost. I won't be finding anyone anytime soon unless they happen to pay me a visit. When you are free. Have you thoughts on that? Plans? Impressions? Theories? That doesn't sound... And when you are free, with the treacherous elves yapping at your heels, desperate to understand, will you do as I ask? Find him. See for yourself. You were toyed with just as I was. I don't understand. Then do what I say. You will understand more if you find him. What makes you think I would follow you blindly? Have you not been following these elves blindly? Look at what they've done with you. I have not. You have played right into their hand. I would bid you seek revenge, but it seems outside your reach. You must wait until they find you, and then you should destroy them. I cannot move these bars, or do you think you could help me? Would you like the ceiling to fall upon your head? No! I cannot help you. Not yet. Yet. better than nothing, some help you are. What does that mean? You're not nearly as helpful as the Galleons believe. Galleons are fools. Is that a surprise? And when you are free, will you do as I ask? I want peace. No. I want peace, Ghost. That's what I've always wanted. And to get peace, you find it. Make it. Make it. That wouldn't be peace. I sat near the bars. There was a weariness to my body. I blamed on that foul sleep. And my knee was throbbing. I didn't return to my dry corner lest I missed something down the dark passageway. I wanted to hear whatever would be heard. But there was nothing, save a few very faint scuffles and a big sigh. Nobody responded to me, and whoever was locked away seemed entirely uninterested in making a single sound. But I was there for a long time. It was only until I heard my stomach growling did I realize, all told, I'd probably spent at least a day and a half down here. And why was I so certain I was underneath? A rock above me, perhaps, but I could be high in a mountain. No, there were no mountains in Gallia, but I had no idea how long I'd been asleep this time. Before days had passed and I was none the wiser. When a second sound came, I once again jolted upright, having slouched in my vigil. This time was a far more animated affair. Multiple men shouting, and the sounds of a struggle far more violent. I saw shadows dancing on the hut walls down the dark passageway. Shadows that grew larger, and I realized they were coming closer, and I clambered to my feet. The thought of seeing another living person held my breath hostage in my throat. Whoever it could be, whatever terrible thing it might be, I still found myself waiting for it with great anticipation. Finally, I saw them, but only for a quick moment. They were passing in a flurry across the passageway crossing mine. At least 6 soldiers were pulling 2 struggling elves behind them. I heard them continue to struggle and shout as their voices faded, but they stopped, well within shouting distance of me, and punctuated the struggle with the slamming of an iron door. The prisoners continued to shout, but the fight was over. I could tell that much, and that was all beside the point. I readied myself as the soldiers' footsteps reapproached, and in the second they passed across the passageway before me, I shouted, "I need food!" I really do need food. I'm starving at the minute. One paused and looked at me, but he looked only a moment before continuing on his way. "Eat them as you ate me." No, that's gross. They're going to leave me to starve? They're not that cowardly. They will come. Face you. I'm glad you're confident in that. I'm not so sure. Perhaps they forgot how often a human needs to eat. The shouting from the new prisoners didn't let up. Though they were full of venom, it was such a comfort to hear another. Perhaps we were facing the same injustice, though I still wasn't sure who put me here. Who is there? I shouted out to them, and to my further relief they responded. They sounded bewildered. But human? The human? No one would ever learn my name, would they? I'm Mavis. My name is Mavis. Please learn my name for fuck's sake. I hesitated. I'm the human. Coffin Tall? Do you know why I'm here? Coffin Tall, fight! Perhaps he simply didn't speak the language. I knew well. but it seemed more like he was caught in the rush of something. His companion wasn't as vocal. He hadn't yelled loud enough for me to hear, but I could just barely make out the sound of his mumbling through the passageways. That would make 4 of us here, at least, assuming the first brought in was still here. Are they going to bring us food? Mavis? So he did know my name. Yes, food? We will feast. I exhaled slowly. Who are you? What is your name? Echom? Echom? I don't know you. Do you know Haron? Haron? He is yours? To think I have found you before him. Such machinations of masks, and yet some stumble upon the gold back end first. He will find you soon, won't he? For us both? And he's alive, at least. I felt dizzy. Some of the pressure I hadn't fully acknowledged was just relieved. And it left me lightheaded. Then I heard a different kind of shout, as though we were formally being called to attention. It followed the marching of the gods. After so much silence, there was such activity. I saw figures take form down the passageway, and there was no mistaking their direction. They were headed for me. As they came into focus, I realised one was my twin. Yet again, I clambered to my feet. You're still alive. Was I not supposed to be? I was going to help you get me out of here. Where is everyone? Was I not supposed to be? Had your assassins failed then? Was I supposed to be dead? What a bitch. I had thought my husband would have done something. He is not himself. Why am I here? Removing kindling from a fire? Garlois saw the cracks, but he did not allow himself to see how deeply they went. You were a chisel in hand of the honest chandler. Removing the kindling, bait the traitor, keep you contained to study, all for the sake of my full husband. There are many reasons for you to be here, and there is the Cascas to consider. You could level this city from the accounts I read, or read even. I would rather let this city rot, but it would take what I love with it, and I must protect it. Why are you here? How long will I be here? Why haven't I been killed? Let me out. Yeah, why, how long will I be here? How long are you going to keep me here? She only stared at me. When the time comes, kill her. When the time comes? What? Ugh, no. No. My twin hissed in irritation. Why do you talk out loud? Can I not hear your voice? Or can it not hear your voice even? Garlois must have fallen in the same habit. There will be a healer along to assess your body as it decays. Huh, wonderful. You seem strong, where the coffin towel is concerned, or your coffin towel itself is weak. Perhaps it is the coffin towel I speak to. The mask is well placed. There is so little to be sure of while he continues to lie. She sucked a breath through her teeth like a wince, and turned on her heel. I wonder how long your mind will keep. And then she's gone. She was leaving, and quickly. I wasn't thinking fast enough to stop her. I didn't know if I wanted to, but oh. Why had she come? Were they hoping to break my mind? Ghost? She is the one whose mind has slipped. Her husband has gone where she cannot follow. Her obsession, the fuel she has fed on for decades. Yeah, get me out of here. Get me out of here. It will not be much longer. I shouted, no specific word, just an incoherent shout of frustration, of anger, of fear. Your allies are close. How do you know that? It doesn't matter. I need something more than that. I am not here to soothe you. If you are broken, I will just put you back together. Do what I ask. If you do not give it, I will take it, human. Find the coward. You're trapped either way. Don't threaten me. That's not nice. You dare threaten me, ghost? You're in my head, and that alone. Yes, fool, I am threatening you. You're mine, easily lost to me. Spooky. Very spooky. Another day passed, though I still wasn't certain of time passing. All I knew was that my stomach ached as badly as the winter when Vanya and I ran out of food. We went a week without eating a thing. Had it been a week? At least I had water. I tried not to think about where it came from. I was not raised to be picky. The silence had ended and then never returned. There was shouting almost constantly, now more and more voices being added to the cacophony. There was such a rage in their tone, such vigour and bizarrely triumph. With each passing hour, the voices seemed to get all the more excited, boastful even. Most of them, anyway. There were two distinct voices I heard peek out from among the others that sounded in utter agony. One kept repeating the same word over and over like he was begging for something. I tried not to think about that very much. I could only imagine what was going on. A rebellion, perhaps? It seemed from what little Gallian I could pick up that they were unhappy with Garlois. But I was so tired, so hungry. You're getting weak. It's been 4 days. 4? It seemed much longer. There are members of your kind who've gone far longer without food. I've gone longer than 4 before. I don't need your mocking. You're connected to me, but not my hunger. You do not realize what danger you're in. I'm in a dungeon, Ghost. Do I not realize it? From me. Exhaled slowly, gripping my head in between my hands. The Conventor's conversation had not been pleasant since it first brought up the coward. It was angry, making demands of me, that I seek out that coward, and worst of all, I had a sinking feeling in my gut that if I refused, I may lose myself completely. My mind drifted so easily in this place. Things became strange, and I kept thinking of my twin. Of her will to see my mind break. When you leave your body, I can take it. Shut you out of your skin. I pull you through the world and make you what I want you to be. Make you whisper for me, see for me, take your life and make it mine. In some ways you already have. Have I? Do I not allow you your worry, your mindless blundering, your ignorant questioning? No, human, I can consume you. Leave you in a stomach of uncertainty, free-falling through an abyss, a web, a shadow shut away. Is that what you're trying to do? It's what I could do. You should be wary. Coercing me then. Trying to force me, Ghost, threaten me into submission. If I am so ignorant, if I do not know the truth of things, I cannot take your insidious whispers as proof of anything. You have lied to me before. Perhaps your only trick is your tricks. If all I had were my tricks, There are more than sufficient for you. I have watched you move, Mavis. I know your weakness. Remember, Mavis. Remember the cow. That's the first time the Cuffin has ever actually used that name. Kill the coward, and then I will give you peace and accord. The Cuffin was never my friend, but something had happened. Its voice was full of a new rage. What was going on? Madness all around me, and I was trapped in between these rocks. Why, Mavis? My attention snapped to a figure rushing down the passageway. Before I could even utter out a proper response, he had fit a key in the lock of the barred door and pulled it open. Haron. He gathered me into his arms and held me so tight it was hard to breathe. You're alive! And I believe that is where we're going to just end it this time. Let's just save real quick. That was interesting. I didn't think we were going to get to that point in this episode, but obviously we did. Well then, please like and subscribe. It's always free. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you later.